Hey guys, welcome back to Bearded Lumber. Matthew and I appreciate you tuning in today. We're back in our molder planer room. I promise we'll do some sawing, but we got a bunch of this that needs to get done. You can see this big pile of white oak here, and there's another big pile sitting out there. We're going to take care of it today, so hang on. We'll be right back to talk about it. Okay guys, today we're making white oak, quarter sawn, hardwood flooring. That's a mouthful. Now to get to that point, you ought to go back and watch a couple videos that are linked with this video of us sawing it. It's been 6 months ago, and then drying it, as well as the last video where we edged it off. Now you don't necessarily have to edge every piece of lumber that goes through this machine, but this was quarter sawn. So we ended up with less than 4-inch boards. You know, we had anywhere from 3.5 inches up to 8.5 inches, and anywhere in the middle. So we had to go through yesterday, and we edged them at 7.5, 6.5, which are still sitting outside, and then we got 5.5s, 4s, and then less than 4. The goal today is we're going to run them all through at 0.950 thousandths. Just a little under an inch, and we're going to square edge them just a little bit, just to kind of straighten them up. And then once all these are done the first time, we'll bring them back in and we'll run them through at 3/4 inch quarter sawn white oak flooring. It's a process. This is why this stuff costs so much. It takes time, it takes effort. Matthew and I got a lot of hours in looking at this wood and getting real familiar with it. We're going to run these, the less than 4s and the 4s are most likely going to end up just S4S for trim, different things. That's what this want. The 5.5s are going to end up at 5. The 6 and 7s are end up 6 and 7 inch tongue and groove flooring. So that's what the customer wants, what we're going to try our best to deliver. We took our machine this morning, took all the heads off and cleaned, lubricated. I micro finished the last 2 heads, just give them a quick diamond hone to sharpen them up just a little bit. I'm not trying to manipulate the edge, just a little light pass, like a pocket knife. If it's sharp, you just a couple little licks and you move on. And just a little maintenance we had to do. Anything else, Matthew?
A lot of boards to run through.
Yeah, a lot of boards. I tell you, we've been blessed, people. This thing got turned on November, into October, and we were backlogged. We had a lot of people been waiting on us to get stuff done, and this is kind of the end of the backlog, I think. Did have a guy come by yesterday, wants a couple 1,000 feet that we may do next week, but we got to get back to sawmilling. We got a lot of stuff we need to get done on it to be ready to do more of this in the spring, but this needs to get done. It's going in a new home. I'm sawing it for the contractor that's building the home, but it's actually for his customer, the homeowner. So not a lot to what we're doing here. We got our machine set up for 950 thousandths thickness. I know I had a couple questions. People want to see a little more in depth on the head. We'll cover that today, because when we go to tongue and groove it, we're going to change this top cutter, and it will have what's called a back cutter for hardwood flooring. It'll leave that little scalloped edge. So we'll go into more detail on that later. I think that's going to do it, guys. We got our heater going. We'll try to find a good place to put you on a time lapse, because unfortunately, in what we do, it takes hours, it takes time, and I know you're not going to sit here for 5 hours and watch us run through all this stuff, but we're in no hurry. Got nothing else on the hot list to do today. Got a few customers coming by. We're just going to take our time, enjoy it, and be thankful that it's running. So let's get to it. Okay, guys, hope you enjoyed or suffered through that time lapse. It takes time. It just, you got to put hours behind these machines to make them produce. We got all this first stack run, which includes all our 5.5, our 4-inch boards, and our 3.5-inch boards. Now we got 6.5, 7.5 over there we're getting ready to swap out. We're gonna run them. Now these are not perfect by any means. We only run them down to 0.950 on the 1,000 on the thickness, and they're going to 750, 3/4 of an inch. We just barely nudged the sides. They're at 5.495. You know, we just basically straight line edge them again to make sure they're perfectly parallel after we run them through our edger. So they're processed, ready to make the second cut. Could we have done this without running it twice? Yes and no. No, not at the thickness that we cut it at. We cut it at a full 5/4, and that's too much to take off with a 5-head machine. If we'd have cut them at 1 1/8, probably, maybe. But I really prefer, especially on this hardwood, the oak, to run it twice, because it leaves little to no chip out, tear out. It leaves an excellent finish, and that's what we're here to provide. It don't take that long to run them comparatively, but our goal is to provide a beautiful finished product. If we have to run it twice to do it, that's what we got to do. So let me show you what we're looking at here. I get people all the time want to see the grain close up. So this is quarter sawn white oak. You can see the medullary rays running through it. They're gorgeous. You can see right here, it missed just a little bit. That'll come out in the second cut. That's a beautiful board. Then you got some that's got a few defects in them, and they'll have to cut around those when they go to install them. But here's another beautiful board. So, give Matthew the camera back. I enjoy running this. I'd rather be on the outfeed side than the infeed side, because you get to see it come out pretty. On the infeed side, I'm just picking the top to bottom. I try to put the prettiest side down and the squarest side to the fence. If it's got a little rut out, you know, I run it the other way. But yeah, seeing them come out of the planer or the motor, beautiful. It's enjoyable. So I don't know, there's not a whole lot to talk about here. I mean, we're just basically running it S4S, preliminary, before we tongue and groove it. Boards wise, what did I say? There's 194 boards here. Yeah. And we got like 115 left, so that should go quicker on the last part. So we're gonna open the doors, get this moved out, get the other stuff moved back in, and we'll come right back to it. Okay guys, you see us swap all the wood around. We got what's left here. We got a stack of just slightly over 7.5 and just slightly over 6.5. Tried to film it. I filmed it on time lapse, I'm sorry, but we already moved the outboard cutter out to 7.495. It's 5/1000 under half and 7.5 inches. That's important because I'm saving that 49.5 thousandths to create our tongue and our groove, so that we end up with a 7-inch face. So, I mean, it's not that important, but that's what I'm shooting for, is a 7-inch face. If it ends up 6.95, life will go on, but I'm shooting for a 7-inch face. So, enough talking. We're gonna put you back on the time lapse, and we're gonna try to get these run. It's Friday for us, and we got things we'd like to do. So, let's get to it. Hey guys, welcome back. Appreciate you hanging in there for that long time lapse. We've got the rest of our boards run, got the machine turned off, blowed off. Actually, I'm gonna turn it off now. Turn the power off. Last thing I do every time we run it is I take this product, wax lit, and go over all the bare metal surfaces to keep down rust. Like I say, we spent too much time cleaning this machine up to have it rust. But here's our stack of lumber. I wanted to show you some of the boards. Now granted, this is the first pass. There'll be another one. But look at the rays in this white oak. This one. And that one. That one over there. This one's even got some blue stain in it. You guys know what blue stain is. That's what happens when you find nails. Now, we did find a few nails when we saw this 6 months ago, but we took a lot of time and effort in pulling them out and cutting them out to make sure that today we didn't hit any. Matthew showed me one little nail fragment that he found. Luckily we didn't hit it, it fell out of the wood, but we've been through the whole pile once and didn't find any, so that's a good thing. So, it's been a hard day's work. Had a customer come by, pick up 2 different loads of wood. Had another customer come by and pick up wood. Cousin come by and see me for a little while. It's been a wonderful day. It's been a good Friday. Can't complain. But we're gonna leave this lay until Monday. I got work to do tomorrow. I work 6 days a week anyway, but we won't be doing motor planing. I got a little sawing project I gotta do for my oldest son, Michael, and a church play they're doing. So that's going to do it for today. I'm not going to end the video. We'll pick it back up Monday because it'll be more of the same, but we'll be running it as tongue and groove and putting the little scallop cut on the bottom side of the board while we're doing it. So there'll be some more stuff to cover there. Hang in there. It'll be just a second for you, but it'll be over the weekend for me. We'll be right back. Thanks, guys. Hey, guys. Welcome back to the mill. It's Monday morning for Matthew and I, and we're heavy into switching our Weinig molder from S4S to tongue and groove hardwood flooring, including our back cutter. Now, this is a cutter we hadn't showed you before. We haven't run it, so today's going to be the first time running it. But as you can see, the scalloped cutter that makes the relief cut on the back side, the bottom, of your tongue and groove hardwood flooring. It's supposed to help relieve it, let it lay flat. According to my hardwood flooring expert, he said you really don't need it unless you're using a screw, so that when the screw goes through, it gives somewhere for the wood to go. But we're going to run them anyway because it's kind of industry standard. So they may be a little setup and adjustment moving this inboard and outboard to where the scallops land to where we want it. Don't know. We're going to find out. So we'll take you along for the journey. Let me show you the head we got. This is a 230 millimeter cutter head. You know what that is? Yeah. 9 inches, 230 millimeter. The first boards we'll be using most of the knives, so they're going to be a 7-inch finished width, and then we'll step down to a 6, a 5, and then the last of them will be 3.5. But to install it, we'll take our T-handle and we'll just back out the Gibbs screws, because it's still got a piece of cardboard installed from Weinig, because like I said, it's a brand new cutter head, never been on the machine. When we tooled up and ordered everything we needed, I bought this head specifically to do what we're doing today, hardwood flooring. Now, these knives are what they call corrugated. If you see this side of it, they have little ridges, and they only go in one way, and they correspond to the corrugation on this head. So they just slide in. If you got the gib backed up enough. I don't think I did. Try it again. Blade takes up a lot more room than that piece of cardboard they had stuffed in there. Okay. Now, This is your gib, just a big long piece of metal that holds the knife in. We're gonna slide, this is a brand new knife, so we're gonna slide it all the way into the head. If you have it resharpened, if you look on top here, it's kind of hard to see, there's a line. Your knife should never protrude past that line. So we don't have any issue with it because our knife is, of course, brand new. I'm gonna sight down here and make sure that I have my knife is equally pushed all the way to the back. It is. The up and down portion is handled by the table. So all I need to do is hold it in position lightly, start tightening the gib screws. These should always be done from the inside out, just like tightening the head on a car or anything else. Lugs on a tire wheel. You got to use a pattern to evenly disperse the tension. So, got them in there, got them lightly snug. I don't like the T-handle for tightening. I prefer a long Allen wrench. So, get it in here. There we go. Yeah. There we go. That head has both knives in it. Now I'm gonna put my gloves on. Like I said, I don't like handling these long knives, so if that thing slips in your hand, it's gonna leave a mess. So you need some good cut resistant gloves. I still don't grab it. I'm not gonna grab it on the knife either way. Got our setup stand here. I've already zeroed it out this morning. So we'll slide our cutter head on. Now, I want to measure at the deepest point that's gonna be left. So that'll be our thickness number. See if you can get over here to see that. Come on, camera. Got gloves on it. Don't like me to touch it with gloves. There we go. If you can see, I'm hitting right here. This will correspond to our 3/4 inch thickness, and this will be the material that's actually removed. So I'll run my gauge up here till it lightly touches. Read the number, 2.746, and I'm gonna come over here. So that's, what's the proper term?
The radius?
That's our radius, is 2.747. So let me get this off here. We'll mark it on there with a Sharpie, and we'll be ready to install this thing. Now, this head, I know, because Matthew and I just talked about it, actually runs this way. It's gonna run counterclockwise, so that ain't right. It's gonna run, yeah, it's gonna run this way. In the machine, it's gonna run counterclockwise. Each one's different depending on where it's located. So this is be our outside. So we're gonna take our marker and mark our radius. Hey, this cutter head's not black. I can use a black Sharpie. 2.747. That number is gonna be crucially important when we go to set up our thickness, because we'll dial this number into our top cutter head, and it should make the next step of this process a lot easier. So let's move over here, get it installed on the machine. Matthew's hard working on a couple of other things we had to move around. Of course, we had to change the side cutters. We were running We run all this wood as S4S. So now we got to transition it back to running tongue and groove hardwood flooring. The knife that I'm working on goes right here. And you can see it rotates counterclockwise. Your heads are always rotating, basically cutting, the wood's coming in from right to left, so the head's cutting from left to right. This head will cut clockwise, where this one's cutting counterclockwise. Okay, let me get this one off here. Oh, that is incredibly heavy. A good plane in there, Matthew? Come with it. No. It's got a bunch of trash all in the back here. Time to get it all free. This is why I'm wearing gloves. This thing, I hadn't weighed it. It's probably a good 35 pounds, maybe more. There's our head. Like I said, it's going to spin counterclockwise. And the locking stuff over there for it. Nice. It should be the same. Yeah. There you go. So that's all we got to do, tighten it up. Matthew took the bottom head off. I'm going to take my diamond hones and kind of micro hone that head just real quick to improve the finish. That'll be it for just a minute. Let's get this together and we'll come back and when we change the setup on it. You're looking at my belly, so we'll be right back. Okay guys, we got our machine switched over from S4S to tongue and groove hardwood flooring. Matthew got the inboard outboard knife cutters changed and then realigned. We're set up currently for 6.5 inch width and a 6 inch finished board. I changed the knives in the top cutter head to our scallop cutters, and that's set close to a 3/4 board. We're going to run a sacrificial lamb and see if we need to make an adjustment up or down on that. And I took the last head and took my diamond hone and just cleaned up the face just a little bit, give it a little sharper edge. But we run a lot of boards through there. So we went through, checked, spun all the heads, make sure nothing hit, didn't have any interference. Set our feed beam back down to 3/4 inch thick. So the rollers have something to grab on. Turn the air pressure on. Matthew's turning the fan on. We're gonna run this test piece and then we'll shut everything off and do some measuring, cut the board, turn it around backwards and see how it all fits. If we hit it on the first try, I'll be amazed, but we're gonna give it a go anyway. So hang on, we'll get it all fired up. Okay guys, the thickness come out great. I'm happy with it. It's right there in this 7.5 range. I was getting 4.8, 4.9 in some spots, and 5.1, 5.2 in other spots. So that's close enough. We can deal with that. Matthew's gonna cut the board, and we'll take a couple pieces and turn them around backwards and see how they fit, so that we know the tongue and the groove are where they need to be. That's a piece of waste red oak we had. Come out good, other than a little tear out in one spot, but the board had like a wind shake going down the side of it, so it's just a test piece. And I told the customer they're not gonna be able to use these boards full length. They're gonna have to go through them and cut the defects out as they see them. They may get to use them 9, 10 feet long. They get to use it 3 foot, 4 foot, 7 foot. So here's their pieces Matthew cut. I marked them as the way they're going through the machine. What I'm looking for is that the tongue perfectly aligns with the groove. Get off a little on one number, maybe. Yeah, the tongue, either the tongue needs to come up a little bit or the groove needs to go down a little bit, maybe. It's rocking up when it goes in there, leaving that.
This one's not quite long enough to do it.
Oh, I don't need it, I can see it. Yeah, just push them together and you can feel it.
I know it's off. I was seeing if it pushed it up or if that dove down some. But looking at it, the tongue probably needs to move just a little bit.
Yeah, and they're installed, they're running on the machine this way. So the tongue could stand to go down just a hair. Yeah, see it pulling that one up when you do that. Let's make a slight adjustment on the tongue going down. Maybe. What's she set at now?
Where it sits.
They're like 391 or 2. Okay. Wasn't quite happy with this. I mean, it's close. What is that? 3/10,000ths or 3/1000ths? Yeah. We're not gonna move it much. The tongue basically needs to move down just a slight amount, because when you put it together, it's causing a little ridge. So we'll make a slight adjustment and we'll run another test board. Okay, guys, we got our slight adjustment made. Got a second piece here we're gonna run. We're gonna run it, chop the end of it the same way. If we're happy with it, we're ready to run them. So let's fire it up and we'll run another test pass. Okay, we run our test pass. I got it marked. Matthew's gonna go chop it off. He confessed he adjusted the wrong knob, so we'll see if it made it better or worse. It's Monday morning, people. If you don't make mistakes, you're not trying hard enough. Things happen. But like I say, we were just, it would work just like it is. But when you put it together, I can feel I can feel it slightly right up, and I don't want it to do that. I want it to just go straight together without any, I mean, it's minor, but we're making a premium product and charging a premium price for it, and they're gonna get what they're paying for. Okay, we got our sample pieces Matthew cut. Pretty happy with the adjustment. Ended up, we were gonna move the tongue, and he moved the groove just slightly, but it fixed the problem. We got a 6-foot pattern. I'm gonna go ahead and run one more, and we're gonna slide them together and verify we're happy with everything, and then we got to get to work running them. Okay guys, we got back from lunch. Cousin come by, we talked for a little while, then we got to work finally. We finished running the 3.5s. So you can see the ones on the bottom are 5. We got all the 3.5s. And these are the ones that wouldn't make a finished 3.5. We're basically doing just kind of like 3S. We're gonna hit one side, top to bottom. They can square them up, use them for trim. But to do that, we got to switch the machine back over to S4S mode, get it out of tongue groove mode. So that's what we're going to do right this second. To switch this over, we're going to have to take both side heads off take the tongue groove knives off, put straight knives on, and this rear head where we got the scallop cutter, it's got to come off, and we'll put the straight cutter back on it. Run these last 30, 35 boards, and that'll be it. That job will be all the way through here. I'm tickled to death with it. What was our failure rate? What percent?
Roughly.
Out of that 100 boards, we had about 3 or 4 that it was a little thin and didn't clear up good. So we just chopped them up and used them for spacers. To me, that's pretty good odds. It ended up real good. They'll have to go through and cut some of the boards where they got some knots and defects, and they won't all be good at 10 foot long, but there's still a lot of good wood there, people. So let's get this done, and we'll get to running the last of it. Okay guys, sorry about all the long time lapse. This kind of stuff, you just got to put hours behind the machine. That's the only way you get it done. We are tickled to death to be done with this order. This is another one that we run start to finish. We actually saw this in early May, dried it, then we run it through the edger, got it all separated into sizes, and then we run it all at S4S 950. Turn around and run it all again at 3/4 inch tongue and groove, with the exception of these last little ones we run at 3/4 inch by 3 1/4 width. Just, they can use them for trim or whatever. They're beautiful pieces of quarter sawn. They just wasn't big enough to make flooring. No sense wasting them. But like I say, we're overjoyed to be done with this. It's been on the property for, I don't remember when he dropped the logs off. It was a little while before we got them sawed. So they've been on the property for at least 6-8 months. So it's good to finish our part. And we're right on line with his time schedule. You know, when he dropped them off, he wasn't expecting to need it to the first of the year. And we were done with it before Christmas. So we did all right. We'd have loved to have done it a couple months ago, but if you watched our motor videos, it just took time to get this machine up and running and functioning. But we're there now. The last thing we did, we switched it from tongue and groove back to S4S. And when we end this video, I'm gonna switch it back to tongue and groove, V groove. We got a couple thousand feet of that in pine and sweet gum we gotta run. So it's been a blessing. Wouldn't you agree, Matthew? We've had a mountain of work to do for it. I got a mountain of work lined up into the new year. I had a customer come by today. He's probably 10,000 board foot of spruce laying out there, and the logs that we've got to get sawed into all 1x6s, probably 4.5 and 6.5, and dry it and then tongue and groove it. That's a lot. And there's a mountain of white pine up there that we've got to do the same thing to. We've probably got 15,000-20,000 feet of yellow pine, forest pine that we need to cut. To say we're busy is an understatement, and it's a blessing, especially right here at Christmas time. So can't complain. This video comes out after Christmas, so I hope you had a good Christmas and a Happy New Year's. Don't forget about the people that help make this thing go. You know, Weinig Corporation, they're a great outfit to deal with. If you're interested in this type of machinery, give them a call. Or if you're looking like I did at a used piece of machinery, know up front that Weinig stands behind their stuff. They still carry parts for it. Now this older stuff with the old computer, you might be on your own on that, but if you watch the video, you see where I eliminated the computer on this and don't need it. It'll run just fine without it. Also, big shout out to Matthew and Solomon doing all our videos. If you get a chance, check out Solomon's channel, Third Beard Fishing. He's doing much better, been out doing some fishing. A couple months, we'll probably be down there with him doing some fishing. So we're looking forward to that. You know, remember Joe Main, he helps us out from Wood Miser. You got any blade needs, mill needs, questions, give him a call. His information will be in the description below. And also Chuck and Sonder from Sheridan Park Farms. If you get a chance, check out their channel. They're up here in McGrady, North Carolina. do a wonderful job with a family-run farm, as well as they got a wood miser. They do some sawing, and he's just learning in that process. But when it comes to farming stuff, he knows his stuff. So check him out if you get a chance. That's gonna do it, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back at the mill.
Thank you for watching. Here's a video selection and a playlist suggestion. Click here to subscribe for more great content. We'll see you at the mill.